What's good and happy new year here at DJ's Universal Comics. This is Cat's Corner episode, is it 2 or 3?
3, 4.
3. I think it's 3. It's 3. I know it's 3.
It's episode 3. Yeah, we're here at the shop hanging out, and we just kind of wanted to 2018 is upon us. Still buying comics out there, I hope, and wanted to get Cat's thoughts on this new year coming upon us, and maybe even what's coming out next week. We're trying to do jump ahead and help you guys out with some picks before you head to your comic book store, preferably DJ's. Cat, man, how was your new year?
It was good. Home. You know, if you follow my Instagram, you saw the cooking I did and everything. You know, a little bit of crepes flipping on the pan and everything. Tamales, the usual stuff. It was good. It was good.
Good stuff. Did
just
Santa give
home.
you everything you wanted?
I still don't have world peace, but yeah, I'm good. Oh wait, no, yeah, maybe XMen and Fantastic Four going back to Marvel. Yeah, I guess it's good.
That's a pretty good present.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So before we get into some picks here, I wanted to, I've asked you before in passing, if I wanted to start collecting comics for potentially profitable reasons, and I know the first answer you gave me was
go buy real estate.
Yeah, if I knew what books were going to be hot, I'd be a millionaire. It's there's no rhyme or reason to these things. But that being said, if you're new to the comic game and you want to start a collection, what are a few tips that you'd give a new collector?
Number one would have to be, again, don't buy for investment. I mean, if you're going to buy for investment, go with the older stuff that has established market value. People search a Hulk. First appearance of somebody, whether it's Hulk, whatever your budget can afford. With the new stuff is a crapshoot. You don't know. I mean, you can, with the new stuff, buy it because you enjoy it. I mean, if you can get yourself on, like next week, we got Matina's doing a Flash cover. I say go. That'd be a cool little thing down the line, 5-10 years from now. Your $3 investment might be worth more, because again, it's the first Matina for DC. My understanding is it's probably coming out sold out of the publisher anyway next week, so that'll be something to put away. But keep in mind, everybody's doing the same thing.
Right.
You're one of the many. Buy it because you like it. If there's a return to it, then you're good. But buy it because you like it. And read it. I mean, read the book. But,
I have a question that's not related to like specific books or whatever. How do you find the right comic book store? Because I don't live around here, so like the comic book stores down where I live, everyone I've been into, they're all assholes.
No, they're not assholes, bro. You guys got to.
They're assholes to me.
Look, this business is probably one of the last, outside of a bar where you get personal, it's one of the last vestiges of a really mom and pop type of business. You can't go to school to become a comic book dealer. There's no degree. I can't get a cum laude bachelorette, PhD in comic book selling. You can do is, business degree, so business, but 99% of the people that are in this business, they start as collectors and they saw an opportunity to make money, some more successful than others. But again, it's not, what you do is, because it's so personal, you got to remember the shop is the extension of the owner. It's it's his personality. I mean, very few people understand the necessity of customer service. Very few dealers put themselves in the place of the customer, because when we walk out of here, I'm a customer anywhere else I go. So how do I want to be treated? A lot of guys don't take that back into their shop.
Right. So how do you, because I mean, let me put it this way. If I didn't know you or Gian and I was on my own, I would just shop online or do digital, because like I said,
I get you, man. I get you. I know what you're saying.
To be ridiculed for like not knowing, what happened in episode 459 of Spider-Man. I mean, issue.
Yeah, no, I got you.
That's your first mistake.
Yeah.
Well, no,
yeah,
well, no, but you know what I mean.
I know what you mean. Look, it's tough because, again, as a shop owner, you walk into my world. And like I said, very few people, very few dealers understand the value of customer service.
Right.
I mean, I personally, I got opinions, but I tend to treat from the guy that spends boku bucks every week to the kid that comes in with the roll of quarters. To me, it's all because A, I'm a consumer too when I walk out of there, and then B, I got kids.
Right.
And my kids go into businesses, and I mean, I don't want them to be treated, bad or whatever, but it's it's something the shop owner has to realize on his own. You can't, I mean, it's unfortunate, and I mean, again, you find if the stores around you don't provide you with that service, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, luckily, I'm in LA. I can drive.
Right, absolutely.
I can drive somewhere. But if you're stuck in the middle of somewhere with just two choices and both choices are not to your liking, then you're stuck. And at the same time, you as a consumer, you got to understand whose territory you're walking into, and maybe try to adjust to the dealer's personality too. I mean, which sucks. But again, it's a personal business. Right. It's the guys. There's no model on how to operate or how to run a comic book store. I mean, you got guys on the East Coast that have 7, 8, 9 stores, and they have a business model because they're treated. But I'm sure even with that chain, there's going to be people that they can't satisfy. I mean, then you walk into a place like Midtown Comics, New York, which is, I've had people tell me, it's like, yeah, man, it's huge, but it loses that personal touch that a lot of comic book stores.
It's a big warehouse.
I've been there. Yeah, I've been there.
So again, there's no middle of, there's no way. I mean, you got stores that claim to be better than others. Then you got stores that I personally walked into, and I'm like, whoa, what did I walk into? You know what I mean? Dungeons and Dragons, whatever. I mean, again, because it's a personal business, and the store becomes an extension of the owner. If he doesn't know any better, then the store, he's not going to know how to run, how to be different. You get these guys that have been in business for 30, 40, 50 years. They're older, you can't change a person.
Right.
And you come in young, maybe you come in with an attitude, he rubs it the wrong way, whatever. I would say just go in, and if you just open up like, just a, hey, how you doing, blah, blah, blah. Don't try. I wouldn't show preferences to anything. I just say, look, I just want to buy comics. I don't want to argue with you.
Right.
I don't want to show you my dick's bigger than yours.
Right.
No. I'm just here for my own purpose. If you have no choices. I mean, if you have a choice and you want to go somewhere else, whether it's further off from you, but you feel comfortable walking, then do it. I definitely recommend supporting local businesses rather than online. And but again, it's tough. It's tough.
I mean, I think a lot of it has to do with as well as like this guy has got a bunch of regular customers that he's dealing with, and he's obviously not intelligently thinking that maybe I need to start being nicer to people so that I build more customers. A lot of these guys probably think
they're just comfortable. I mean, it's the same principle like with the publishers. They forgot a certain market, and they cater to one market, and that market is not supporting anymore. So now they're going back to the well, which were the kids. Get the younger audience back in it, whether it's toys, comics, whatever. Get that audience reading again, because they'll become the future customers. So maybe the dealers will understand that too, and change. But again, it's got to come from you, from the dealer, to accept that you need to do something different. You know what I mean?
And then the other thing is, like, there's more than one store. Just shop around.
It's like a restaurant. You know what I mean? I'll drive 30, 40, 50 miles away to go to a restaurant that I stopped once because the service was so great. I'll go back and support that. I mean, I won't do it. I'll find it maybe once a month, whatever, but I'll do it.
Right.
With comics, again, if you find a store that offers a subscription program, you know what I mean? Whether it's a free subscription program or they charge you a service fee, talk to them and say, hey, if you go and let's say it's store away from you, you talk to them, you say, look, I live here, you're here, I don't like these guys, I'll drive to you, but I can't do it on a weekly basis. Can we do something once a month? And most guys, if they want your business, or if they're smart enough, they'll do it. Guys will have credit cards on file, you authorize it, they'll charge. So there's ways of dealing with the local shop. You just got to figure out what you want.
That's good advice.
Yeah. it's like I said, I'm not perfect. I'm sure I've pissed off a couple of people here and there, you know, whatever, you know. I can't please everybody. I try, but I can't, you know. So after a while, you start trying to please yourself in a way. Not, I mean, I don't want to sound narcissistic, but you got to figure out, what am I doing? Because, you know, as long as I've been in business, and and you've known me for a long time, and I've gone beyond, you know, to satisfy customers, and I've got burned for thousands of dollars in pull lists. You know, you hit a wall, everybody runs and scrambles, and it's like, oh, fuck that, I need my weekly books. So instead of figure out what's going on and help the guys, everybody scrambles somewhere else. Again, because everybody is selfish and they think about themselves, you know. So it's got to come like this. It's got to be a middle of the road type of situation, you know. But don't give up on the local shops. Maybe they'll hire somebody that you can get along with.
They've been one in particular. They've been that way since I've been a kid.
Really?
And I've never.
I apologize for that.
I've never enjoyed it. Never, but it's like the shop for the area. You know,
and when I hear stories like that, it's like, everybody that knows me, I do not participate in anything that has to do with other dealers, because I don't. Again, not that I'm better than that, because I'm not, but I'd rather not be part of some that they don't understand the bigger picture. I mean, when a customer calls and he goes, hey, do you have this book? No, I don't, and you hang up, that doesn't help them. You know, somebody calls me, I don't have it. I give them 2-3 stores numbers around me. I'll send them House of Secrets or 2 Blast Off. I mean, I will help a customer find a product, you know.
Well, they'll remember that too.
You know, you don't want to push them away, you know, or they come in your store, you know, oh, I don't have it. Oh, okay, is that the end of the conversation? No. Hey, let me check. Hey, do you have this book? I have a customer here that's looking for it. I've done it plenty of times, you know, because I think it's good business to keep it in, to share it. Keep a customer. If I can't satisfy, I know this guy has it. Give him the business. But not everybody thinks like that. They think they're better than everybody else. So I stay away. I stay away from anything that has to do with dealer participation.
I mean, I do that with film, because I do production sound, and sometimes I can't take a job for whatever reason. Instead of just saying no, I can't do it, I'll say, hey, I can't do it, but here's the contact information of 2 other people who probably will be able to do it.
Qualified to do it.
And they'll call me back, you know, in the future.
Exactly.
Oh, you know, you didn't work out last time, but do you think you can do sound this?
Exactly,
and it's like, great.
Because you become easy to work with. You're not a problem person, you know what I mean?
It's so easy to say no, that's why.
Oh, it's
so easy to just say
no.
your own, deal with it yourself.
You know, but sometimes you gotta stop saying no and think about the bigger picture, you know, and a lot of us don't think about the bigger picture. I mean, we're starving for customers, we're starving for new readers, and the kid comes in your store. Give the kid 5 minutes of your damn time. Stop playing a fucking card game or whatever you're doing. Walk around the counter and help the kid find something to get him hooked so he can come back, because he's your future business.
Right.
Once the guy that plays cards is done, his pocketbook dries up, he's gone. What you gonna do then?
Yeah, the comic book guy from The Simpsons is real.
There's a lot of us out there like that.
That's a real character, a real life person. They didn't just make that up. But yeah, I for me, you know, I'm old enough where it's like, if I go into your shop and you're kind of a dickhead, I'm not gonna go back. You know, it's just, okay, well, that's fine. Yeah. Especially here in LA, there's so many stores in LA. Like
there's plenty.
I feel like you can't afford to be that way with people.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean,
in Hollywood, there's like 7 stores. It feels like right next to each other.
I mean, there's at least 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 within like a mile radius, 2 miles tops.
Right.
I mean, you know, but there's a lot of people in Hollywood too, so maybe it works. I don't know. You know, but yeah. But going back to collecting, you know, just, you know.
Well, there's something else you mentioned. You talked about, and I think this is a key. A lot of people don't seem to pick up on this, or they forget about it. You know, it's not always a guarantee, but first appearances. I think, like, if you're gonna go in and try to invest into things, and you're thinking new books, try to find out if there's a new appearance in that book, because it might not pay off, but it's more likely to pay off.
But what if the first appearance is, so let's take an example. This week, Green Lantern's come out. I don't understand that book. I mean, they're pushing two characters that, in my opinion, don't carry a Green Lantern's title. They're probably better within it. And even in Justice League, they're not that great. They're not. It's not Hal Jordan. It's not. Give me a Sinestro in the green suit. I'll take that over anybody. You know what I mean? You know, give me Tomari. Give me somebody that I'm familiar with. But they're pushing, which is fine. But you have this week's Green Lanterns, which is, it's a so-so book. Doesn't sell. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how well it sells, but I can't see it flying off the shelves. But this week there's a first appearance of a new character, and book's gone. You know, does it have long-term longevity? I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, the book's is not a great book. Green Lanterns is not a great book.
Right.
What are you going to do with that character? Where is she going to play down the line? Is she going to pop in Green Lantern movie? That's the case, maybe. She looks like a space Harlequin. You know, like Harley Quinn, but
yeah.
you know, it's like, are you reaching to get sales on the? I don't know. You know, so you got to take a lot of factors in consideration. You just can't jump. But then, we go. So we go from Green Lantern, you know, this week to, again, and I'm not stroking Donny Cates' ego. I'm not on his. I just like his writing. He happens to write some good books. So all of a sudden this week, one of my customer comes in, is like, Kat, do you have any Thanos, the first issue? Is like, yeah, I got a couple. I pull them. Book is hot as cakes. Why? Well, it's Donny Cates' first appearance, but there's also first appearance of a space ghostwriter who works for Thanos. So the odds of that character popping into a movie are a lot greater and long-term, in my opinion, than this new character that popped in Green Lanterns. And the books are, Thanos is such better read than Green Lanterns.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of pluses to that. So look at everything. When you buy, look at everything. But I would recommend, don't speculate. It's the quickest way to lose your shirt. I mean, to become burned with the product. I've seen it. I've been in business long enough to where I've had guys come in gung-ho, man. They were buying. I'm like, dude, and I've literally, I think one of the few guys that will put, I said, dude, I can't. You need to stop. You know, you're spending way too much money. And I'm like, people are like, what are you saying, Kat? Are you out of your mind? Look, he's going to get burned out. I don't want him to get burned out. The lure of it, it's not that great. I mean, you want to play with comic books? Buy yourself an amazing, if you have money to throw around, go buy a Hulk 181. That book is guaranteed to go up every fucking year. Go buy, you know, a first Punisher. I mean, look at the Punisher. That thing jumped from nothing to thousands.
For those that, if you're
Amazing
that
Spider-Man
new,
129.
if you're that new, Hulk 181 is Wolverine's first appearance, and then Amazing Spider-Man 129 is Punisher's first appearance.
And I tell you something else.
And the Netflix series is really pushed.
And I don't know if anybody's paid attention. If you look at the Marvel properties, whatever Marvel owns movie rights to has gone up immensely. Everything else hasn't really moved. Fantastic Four, X-Men. The X-Men books are so much better than anything else. And they haven't really jumped to what they should be, considering what some of the other books have gone up to. That's about to change. Once it finalizes and Marvel gets those movie rights back, you're going to see a definite change in the value of Uncanny XMen. A lot of X-Men, because there's a lot of first appearances during the 80s, 90s.
Yeah.
Even during the 90s crappy run. I mean, I liked it, but there's a lot of first appearances. And a lot of those books stopped, they ended up in like quarter bins. So as many as they printed, high quality books are not around. So watch that, you know, because X-Men's always been the cream of the crop of the Marvel, you know, movie.
Yeah.
I mean, X-Men ruled everything. So that's about to change, in my opinion. Fantastic Four, you're going to see a lot of those older books go up. You know, so if you're going to play with it, play with books that are stable.
Right.
It'll cost you a penny, but it'll turn you a penny. You know what I mean? You know, there's no. You can't go again. You can't go wrong with even a poor grade Amazing Fantasy 15. If you have that kind of money to throw around, invest, buy stuff that's guaranteed.
That's Spider-Man's first appearance.
Right. You know, look at CGC. Some people don't like CGC. You know what? I didn't like CGC for the longest, and you know me. But, dude, it holds a value. It's guaranteed that value, you know.
Now, see, when you say CGC, you know, not everybody.
I'm talking about the grading service, and I'm talking about the CGC brand in particular, not VGX or CBCS. That's the, you know, CGC is like Coke versus Shasta and the supermarket brand on the other ones, or whatever Kroger's soda can we have.
Right.
You know, if you're gonna go with the brand that's gonna be there another 15, 20 years from now, but it's guaranteed. You know, you buy a 9.8, it's gonna stay 9.8.
And the grading services are, so you submit your comics to this company, and they have a professional person like super inspect your book to figure out how many imperfections it has, and then it grades it from 0 to 10, 10 being
perfect.
Yeah, perfect, which is impossible.
So 9.9 and 10s don't really, so 9.8 is the acceptable selling grade. It's like in the Overstreet, it's near mint. You never see mint. You see near mint plus, which is 9.8. So it's acceptable grade, selling grade.
Yeah, 9.9s and 10s are unicorns.
Yeah.
But if you get a 9.8, that's usually the jumping off point. And I mean, we'll probably, Cat's got a whole wall full of
not
CGCs.
A lot anymore. I've been selling them, but again, you know, so there's ways to collect, but primarily
I'm on that train of buying something that's established, because I mean, I don't know, I don't buy comic books like Gian does, but I'd have to think in my mind that it would be like buying new Star Wars toys. They're not going to be worth anything in 10 years because the real money is in the first generation, or like those first few waves.
I mean, I always when they relaunched the Star Wars toys back in mid 90s, 95, 96.
Yeah, because I had those.
You know,
yeah.
I used to have a shelf of toys, and I don't know if you were with me then, but I opened everything. So I would have every toy. People would be going crazy, like, why do you open these toys? I'm like, look, man, do you know how many people are holding these toys mint in package? Do you know how many are there producing mint in package? It's not like the reason the old stuff is worth the money because it's so hard to find.
It became
gem,
valuable.
Mint, and package. So becomes the value on everything that's old. It's a value on the condition, not the quantity, but it's on the condition. Nowadays, with this newer stuff, especially stuff in the last 5-10 years, it becomes an issue of quantity, how much is produced. And it's not a lot. But the stuff in the 90s, man, everybody was buying them by the case, and then fast forward 5-10 years later, I would get people in the store with boxes and boxes of sealed Star Wars. I mean, I had a lady come in once with 3 good size boxes full of Star Wars pieces. I think one case, all she had was Stormtroopers and Luke's with the half saber, long tray. And she told me she went to 5 different stores and she could not sell them. I'm like, what were you thinking? It's like, well, I thought this. Like, dude, don't. Everybody's on that same train because they see what the old stuff's worth, but they forget that that stuff is worth money because it's so little in high-grade quality. There's plenty of low grades. I mean, there's dime. You can find them at swap meets, you know. It's that high-grade quality that makes the difference in the price. Now, and I used to tell people, I was like, watch, my loose are going to be worth more loose because there's so very few loose that people will be like, oh, I got to have that loose figure. Because I don't dare open my sealed toy, so I'm going to charge, I'll get my money back, you know.
Yeah.
So it's a complicated field, you know. Buy real estate. Buy a building. People always need a place to live. Damn it.
You know, what you said about Marvel is the same thing about Walking Dead. You know, if that show didn't exist, those Michonne issues that are worth thousands or whatever would be worth nothing, in my opinion.
I remember the comic book was popular, okay? I mean, it was one of the few Image titles that reached the 100+ margin. But when the show came in, dude, that thing took off like crazy. It was just nuts. And again, #1 has, I think, about 8,000 print run count?
Yeah, it's got a tiny print run.
And on top of it all, during the print run, the initial print, well, the print run, about a third into the print run, they had to change the ink cartridge. And the mature label sign, once they changed the cartridge, it wasn't blackened. So there's a portion of the run that says mature reader
Those
in
are worth
black.
way more, I'm sure.
They're way more than the one in white. I mean, what, a few years ago, well, it was the last year, I think. Yeah, last year, or the year before. Yeah, last year I sold a 9.8 black label for like $3,200. At last, I got it from CGC. 2 days later, I put it on eBay. Guy contacts me, hey, I'm local. Can I buy it? I'm like, sure. And a black label. So there are those exceptions, you know. Invincible, that's another low print book. You know, if that ever movie takes off, goes on, you know, there was a spike, but then it mellowed because I haven't heard word of it. But there's books you can play with, but you gotta be willing to take that risk and don't expect it to happen overnight. Because if you do, you get burned out. And if you don't have the money to do it, don't do it. Because you will get burned out, and you'll find out that, you know, you come back to me and be like, dude, I need to sell these. I'll be like, bro, I have them. I can't, this is the best I can do. And you feel bad. Some dealers don't. I do. Then you tell the guy, go on eBay. Yeah, but there's 50, 100 on eBay. It's like, because everybody plays the same game. Nobody thinks down the line. You know, if you have a job, stick with it. You got a paycheck every 2 weeks, great. If you're going to do this, you got to be immersed in it. You know what I mean? Or you do it, it's a long-term investment.
Yeah.
It's not 24 hours, you know, because you'll find out you're like.
And there's also, you know, there's quick flippers out there. There's people that do exist. When I say quick flipper, there's guys that buy stuff that Wednesday and they're selling them within minutes of leaving the comic store. Or if you're really good, they're listing stuff on eBay before they even have it because they know that their guy is going to get them. They're pre-ordering stuff.
No, I get it. I get it.
You know, and that's also, I mean, on the one hand, there's a profit to be made. On the other hand, the profit is so minute that, like,
is it worth your time?
Exactly.
How much time does it take you to go to the post office, mail, pack this stuff, get it ready? I mean, literally, you're working for pennies. Because I mean, I like to get paid by the hour. And if I'm gonna do all this, I'm like to think I'm worth more than $5, $10 an hour.
Yeah.
To do all this, you know what I mean? You know, like I said, you know, but whatever, you know. Again, we live. Everybody thinks they're slick. Everybody's, you know, whatever works for them, you know, works.
I mean, and it's so
it's okay. I mean, it doesn't affect me in any way. Maybe it helps the market by getting the product out. People see a movie and they're like, "What the hell?" You know, whatever. You know.
I kind of look at it this way: like if you're making enough money where it's paying for the books that you're keeping, then
I mean, if you're doing, I mean,
sure.
if you're using that to justify your buying, so you don't have to take money out of your daily budget that you have reserved for other things. So if, you know, and I do recommend that to guys. I tell them, look, man, you know, whether it's comics, pops, toys, you know, it's like, you guys got to learn. You got to flip it quick.
Yeah.
Because everything has a selling point. After that, it just sits. You know, it has an attainable value. It'll stay at that value. But worse, it'll drop if it sits on it too long. You want to move it.
Yeah. And then you can't really predict what's worth holding on to.
So I mean, if you buy it and you see it climbing to $5, $10, $15, and you do this on a weekly basis, don't sit there and go, fuck, I can get 100 in a week. No, get rid of it. If you have 2, 3 copies, get rid of them, because those 2, 3 copies, if you paid $3, $4, and you're getting $10, $15, $20, that's your $100 right there on $20.
Yeah.
Whether it's a pop, you're paying $10 for a pop. Within a month, it goes up to 20, 30, 40, 50, $60. Flip it, because in 3 years, when it reaches 300, 400, nope, there's going to be less. There's more people now willing to give you that 20, 30, 40, 60, $80. Then in 2, 3 years, they'll give you that $400, $500 price. You'll find the person, but it'll be harder. It'll take longer. Somebody will finally break down and go, shit, fine, let me buy it. But it depends on the product too. It might not.
Yeah.
I mean, I totally know the feeling about the books. You know, I did a show. I did my first comic show last February.
Right, and you found out that.
And you know, I found out that pretty much every book I own was worthless
Because everybody else has it.
Yeah, so you know, I made my money by losing money because I sold everything for $1. Like everything was $1 book because they were just.
You made room in your.
I made room
exactly.
Exactly.
You didn't have to lug it home, but the reality, you found out that the reality is, it's not as peaches and cream as you think it is.
Right, and it's like a lot of, and you know, I read every single book that I had, but it was also like thinking, you know, when I was a kid and I started, you know, going to the store, oh, this book was worth that, and not too many modern books are worth anything, you know.
That's what I was getting at earlier. I assume that it's kind of like the Beanie Baby. You get that first Beanie Baby, you're gonna have a few $100 maybe, right? But any Beanie Babies that are made today in 2017 or 2018, excuse me, they're never gonna be worth anything.
Beanie Babies were the first year of Beanie Babies. What the magic was about that product, it reached an audience that wasn't there. It reached old ladies. The old ladies were buying these fucking things like crazy, bro. I used to go, there was a store over here years ago where just past Bookstore, now it's a Starbucks, I believe. It used to be called Buddy Brown's. A small mom and pop type of toy store, nothing fancy. They would get, but they have Beanie Babies every Tuesday. Whenever those damn things came in, nothing but old ladies in that store buying those things. But when they got tired, that stopped. You know, between the young audience and the old ladies, that Beanie Baby market was dead as quick as it came out. Now it's just there. Kids, you know, there's I don't think there's any value to them, is there?
No. Beanie Babies?
Beanie Baby,
the original, like the original, and then they have to have like some defect, like printed with the name spelled wrong or something.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I got about 2-3 tubs of that shit in storage somewhere.
But and then some like, and I'm talking about like first ones where the animals looked like stupid. They didn't even look like animals, you know. Like those are the ones that. But other than that, you know, they're not.
So I mean, again, with Pops, you know, I always say Pops are just another Beanie Baby syndrome, but
they have a way bigger audience.
Well, because the difference is you're buying a product that it's not just a plush animal with a stupid name.
You're buying Indiana Jones.
Something that you know.
Yeah.
But again, are you buying the box? Are you buying this? Because I know guys that have walls of Pops in their
So
room,
do I.
and they're like, I don't know what to do. They stop buying, and what I've known a couple of guys that have taken kiosks out at malls, and they realize that they're not selling. They're stuck with these things because, again, you want to sell it. If you're going to play this game, I can afford to sit on stuff because I'll be in business, God willing, another 10, 15, 20, 30 years. I have an avenue to pop it up, but somebody that doesn't have the store and they're speculating, you know, you have a short audience time to sell this product. You know what I mean? You gotta get rid of it when it reaches right before it reaches peak, because when it reaches peak, then it's done.
Good luck.
Yeah. Well, the problem with peak is the second it does hit peak, that's when everybody else starts loading stuff on eBay.
And so that's what I'm saying. You gotta be able, like,
and the undercutters start coming out.
You got, you know, because they don't want to sit on it because they have cases of this stuff. So if you pay 10, it's going 40, 50, $60. You look at, I'd cut it at 50, 60. Fuck, I'd cut off at 40. Dude, I paid 10, I'm making 30. After fees, 25, what doesn't matter. I'm buying 2, 3, I pop them, get my money, gone.
Absolutely.
Move on to something else, you know.
Yeah.
But again, shows like Toy Hunter and all these other sensationalizing shows on TV, whether it's storage or whatever, and all these collectors like, oh my God, it's worth this. It's like people lose their goddamn mind, and the concept of like, I need to get rid of it because, again, once it reaches a selling point, a peak, you're done. You can't get rid of it. I've had plenty of items that, not that I held on to, but I've had multiples, you know, and I've sold them, but I'm like, I look on eBay and it's like, man, man, this shit's like $400. I paid this much. I priced it at $4, but I priced it because everybody knows eBay, and then I want to move it.
Yeah.
But I'm letting you know that you go on eBay, this sucker's $400, so let's do 200.
No,
Yeah.
I mean, my problem is, because I used to do this too, not with comic books, but with everything else. The problem that I came into more often than not was finding something really cool that was worth some money and then not wanting to part ways with it.
And then
That's
you had to
my
get rid of it because you needed the money.
right. That's my, like, it wasn't that, oh, let me just wait until this gets more value.
He still doesn't get rid of it. He still has it.
So yeah, and some of these things, you know, like
It's a tough call, bro. I mean,
where
it's a tough
you know,
call.
like you find a cool jacket and it has it's a movie jacket and whatever. I'm just making this up. A Seinfeld set jacket. You're like, man, I really like this, but you bought it to sell it, but you don't want to part ways with it because you like it.
I mean, the other day I went into one of my units and I pulled 4 Bowen statues out. It probably cost me each about $120, $30 back in the day cost. I pulled the Electro, Amazing Spider-Man where he's leaping over the wall with his full figure with the wall in the back, Taskmaster, and Weaponess Wolverine. On eBay, according to eBay prices, I have $2,000 in those products. 400 to 500 a piece. Dude, if I can get 3,
Take them.
You know what I mean? It's like, do I want to get rid of them? I only have 1 of left, so these will be like, man, I could hold on, like that Wolverine piece. In 5 years, once Marvel gets a hold of Wolverine, that could become a $1,000 piece. I could sell it for 5, 6. But it's like, I could use the 2, but do I want to get rid of it? Like you said, I want to get rid of that jacket, but I have to. Hopefully there's something there. I move something else, you know, will be worth something, you know. There's a lot of factors too. I mean, I believe that but we're going to go through some more stuff economically. I'm not an expert, but more shit's going to happen before it gets better, but it's getting better.
I agree.
But it's getting, the thing is what you have to ask yourself with these collectibles is like, what's going to happen, let's say in 5, 10 years, if this shit don't blow up, this world doesn't go crazy. What's going to happen in 5, 10 years from now with the product from the last 5 to 10 years, even like early 2000, where you know the print run and the production run are extremely low. What happens if people start making money again and everybody that passed on this product now because they had no money, all of a sudden they want to buy it? With the low production run and demand, prices could, you could have another golden age of comics, but not because of condition, but because of supply.
Right.
Yeah, it's
So if it's hot now, you know, let's say in 5, 10 years, how much hotter is it going to be if somebody has the money to pay for it? So what do you do? Do you sell your stuff? I mean, there's so much to play with.
And I think
so as an investor, I mean, you got to take everything in consideration when you play this game.
When I think of that, I think of, you know, I understand why people buy 2 copies of things.
Oh, I did that back in the day.
Yeah. You know, and I think that's kind of the way you have to look at it is, you know, if you have the extra money, then you just buy an extra copy so that you can put it away.
Right.
You know, and to a certain extent too, because you don't want to keep putting stuff away. Then you're gonna have 10,000.
Oh, that storage units. Dude, that thing is like, it's expensive. You're talking, you know, $200-300 a month, $400. That's $2,000+ a year.
Yeah.
just to hold something.
Just to hold something.
Yeah.
So there's so much. I mean, if you have a house, great. You have a garage, great. But how long before your wife says, "Hey, dude, I need to park my car in the garage"?
I mean, I'm going through now. I got 3 closets full of all my stuff.
No, forget the wife. How about you walking in and you're like, you look at this, you're like, man, I need 2-3 lifetimes to get through this stuff.
Yeah.
You know, so it's a tough predicament you're in as a collector,
Right.
or as a, you know.
So my advice for that to people out there is, you know, Kat already said it too, like, buy the stuff you like.
Simple.
You know, when it comes to action figures, because I have my collection of action figures, what I started doing is I just stopped buying characters I didn't care about.
Right.
Because I would end up buying all these figures because they look cool. I was like, oh, this is a cool looking figure, and maybe I heard it was rare. You know, it was hard to find at the store. So yeah, I might be able to get an extra $10 for it or something. But I started just accumulating so much shit that I was like, you know what? I don't need all these all these Spider-Man characters because I don't even like Spider-Man. I've never been a fan of the Spidey books.
You get caught up in
it. So why do I have all exactly? So if you're gonna collect these things, like.
Yeah, but think about it too. If you're collecting stuff, do you actually get to enjoy something that's in a box in a closet?
No, definitely not.
So you got to figure out why you're collecting. Are you collecting because, quote unquote, you're gonna make money, put your kids through college with this shit, or you buying it to enjoy it? And if that's the case, you have to make a decision. I'm gonna open this shit. I'm gonna buy myself a show. I'm gonna go to IKEA, find myself a nice display case, and I'm gonna display this stuff. I don't care about the secondary market value because, again, when will I sell this? And if I don't flip it tomorrow when it doubles up, I get stuck with it. Because guess what? They will continue pumping out these figures.
Yep.
So your figure is old. Look at everybody with the Toy Biz stuff from the 90s. Those things were golden back in the day. The minute Marvel Legends came along, same company, they went to a different scale. Nobody cared about that. You know, Marvel Legends, nobody cares. Something else is up. There's always something's going to replace.
The Hasbro quality is shitting on the Toy Biz quality. I mean, there's some people that argue that, but I think overall, like especially the last 3 years of Marvel Legends from Hasbro, they're so much better than the Toy Biz things.
You know, because for a minute they weren't. Toy Biz was still the toy, but Hasbro stepped up. I think what happened is they bought the molds. They got the molds from because they did something that Toy Biz used to do, whether it was the molds or whatever. So they definitely stepped up the game, you know.
So now you got new figures that are better than these old Toy Biz figures that were worth a lot, and now you see the money coming down in the Toy Biz figures. But I mean, we could talk about this all night.
Of course,
so let's to wrap this up. Next week, January 10th, got some books coming out Wednesday.
All right,
what are your hot picks here? Like, let me start it off with. Francesco Mattina, we talked about at the beginning of the cast.
I love that Red Hood and the Red Hood Lost Days variant. Oh, back in the day, that was his first work. That's a juicy book right there.
See, and that's another thing to go by is if you like an artist, go find his covers. You know, even the covers that might not be that popular, because if you like them, there's bound to be other people that like them, and that's something to invest in because
they'll catch on.
They'll catch on. And variant covers, I mean, that's for another day. But so this book, it's a Flash book. It's a regular book.
It's not. It's the variant to Flash 38.
Well,
it is an open order book, but most dealers don't order the variants.
Right.
They order very little. I don't know. Are they smart enough to order on the Mattina cover? I don't know. I understand that Midtown's already sold out, and the book hasn't even shipped. So So I would say Flash 38 variant next week. Expect that book to disappear like within the first afternoon. By the middle afternoon, that book won't be available in any store.
And that's a big tip, guys. Go online and look at the online retailers, and if a book's already sold out, that's something you probably want to get your hands on at your local dealer. That's also something that might be a quick flip. So if you see that it's sold out already a week before the book comes out, you list it on eBay now, and you make your $10. And if you get more than one copy, you know, hold on to the other one.
I think this is his second DC cover that's open for orders. Like I said, his first variant was the Red Hood Lost Days back in 2000 something. It was the miniseries was nobody bought that book. The variant is very hard to come by. I mean, it pushes the 1,000 plus at 9.8. You know, 18. I talked to a guy about 6 months ago. He sold his 9.8 copy for $1,800.
Oh wow!
So it fluctuates. You know what I mean? So, but this Flash cover next week, it's his first. Again, it's his second. That's open orders. He did one recently for Dynamite for the Batman Shadow crossover. I don't think people care about the Shadow, but that might be a sleeper down the line. But this one next week, the Flash 38, that's a no-brainer in my opinion. You know, I guarantee you, no store's gonna order more than their normal orders. It's gonna be gone by the afternoon time. I mean, I would say that book's probably gonna hit $10 at Frankincense by closing next Wednesday.
Oh, there you go. So that's a good book.
That's DC. I mean, reading-wise, Mr. Miracle comes out next week, and that book's been great. You know, that's I think is the last issue. I don't see. That's for that. Marvel.
For cover purposes, personally, for your personal collection, Jenny Frison has been making variant covers for Wonder Woman.
Yeah,
every other week. That's something for the personal collection. Maybe pick up.
She does
these
good covers. I agree with you on that one. She's a sleeper, I think.
Yeah,
she hasn't quite caught on, you know. But the Wonder Woman covers are sleeper.
And those are books too, where if you see her at a show, get her to sign the book. You know, and especially if CGC's there, so you can get a witness. You know, it'll cost you $50 to get it graded.
Like that, 30 to
50. Yeah, let's say $35 to get it graded. Someone will go with you for free to witness her signing the book, and you hand it off to them, and boom, you get it graded and something to hold on to. But the covers for these Wonder Woman books are really nice. And I hear that. I mean, I don't read the book itself, but I've been told by other people.
Oh, it's really good. James Robinson's killing on that Wonder Woman right now. It's really good. Then Marvel, you got the Avengers. They're starting their big weekly push. I mean, you go back a few years ago to Secret Wars, and you see what Marvel has done the last few years, to where because they didn't own the movie rights to a lot of characters, they totally messed up their universe. No Fantastic Four books. The X-Men books have been crap. Multi-universe depleted into one universe. I don't know if
it's a bit underhanded, but I get it.
You know, I don't know if this storyline is coming to undo all that. Because now that you're getting your X-Men back and the movie rights and everything, you're definitely going to see, like I mentioned before in our previous podcast, you're going to see Fantastic Four come back strong. You're going to see your X-Men books. Look, Xavier's back this week, an Astonishing X-Men. You know, Phoenix is coming back, and it's the original Jean Grey. How far behind is Cyclops and everybody else that they've mutilated because they don't own the movie rights? So with that said, this Avenger book, I haven't read it. I know this might be an undoing of Secret Wars, so we'll see. But that's a book to watch. They're pushing that really strong next week. You also have
the Darth Vader books.
Old Man Hawkeye. If anybody was a fan of him during the Millar run, they're doing that. I don't know.
So that's Old Man Hawkeye from Old Man Wolverine.
Old Man Logan back in the day. Yeah. You have Punisher, like the last few issues, this Mark Rosenberg, the same kid that's doing Phoenix, he's been killing. I love Punisher. It's great. And then you have, yes, the Darth Vader book. Oh my God, that book's been insane. So that number 10 comes out next week. That's worth the read. It's another Jedi. He probably kills another Jedi because that's all he does. He's balancing. It's funny. We had an argument yesterday about Star Wars and balance. You know, well, Luke's supposed to bring balance to the universe, to the Force. No, Vader brought balance to the Force. There's 2 Siths, too many Jedis. He killed the Jedi, so there's 2 Siths and 2 Jedis. There's balance at the Force. That's it, you know. But Darth Vader's a really good read, you know. And for the ones that have never read it, the Vision miniseries being put out on the hardcover next week. Tom King, insane on this book. I mean, that's something that'll blow your mind. So you got a few picks there.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you. So, yeah, guys, make sure to check some of this stuff out. And I think that's going to do it for tonight. Thanks for having us, Kat.
Anytime.
We'll see you next week.